Is Your Honor, yes.
Someone, bailiff, could you go bring the accused in?
Yeah, I gotcha.
Thank you. And their escort.
Already on their way in.
Take a seat on the left over there. I'm getting puffy.
Leave it to law enforcement, but no objection. Yep, at uncuffing. Exactly what I was about to say. All right, we are here. We hear the chase. Chase. My word. Bad start already, everybody. To hear the case of Jasmine Miller. Many charges to be read in. His Honorship, the Honorable Tobias Katz presiding. Prosecution Counsel, if you'd introduce yourselves.
I'm Lieutenant Governor Cole Thornton, and my co-counsel is Chief Marshal Billy West.
Howdy.
The accused is appearing pro se, meaning in their own defense. So we'll deal with that as it goes. Now, Ms. Miller, we're going to start off with the reading of the charges, so don't worry too much at the beginning here. Before the charges are read, prosecution, I'd like to ask what the hell is on my desk here? Let me read it as it hit my office. A singular charge of kidnapping, 30 counts of murder, armed robbery, and torture. Interestingly, all in the same amount, all in the same sentence, actually. 13 counts of residential burglary, 17 counts of third-degree battery, 4 counts of attempted murder, and assault on a peace officer. Now, could you please explain how we have 30 even counts of murder, armed robbery, and torture? Is this a pattern that happened over time? What's going on here?
Your Honor, what I have here is I've gone through and cleaned up the numbers to the amounts that are limited to Miss Miller here, and the state has set up just the things that are affiliated with her and not the gang that she was running with at the time. So I've cleaned up those numbers a little bit, and I can read them off to you if you wish.
Let's read those charges in, sir.
That'd be 1 count of kidnapping, 30 counts of murder, 1 count of armed robbery, 1 count of torture, 13 counts of burglary. You know the word, I can't say it. 17 counts of third degree battery, 4 counts of attempted murder, and 1 count of assault on a government official.
I'd like to ask for some clarification. Is the assault on a government official related to any of those accounts of attempted murder?
Not so far as I know.
Because if it were, I would throw out the lesser count and have it be contained within the higher charge. Is that understood?
No, I believe this is a separate engagement.
For that clarification.
Yes, I understand what you mean. I'm saying that this assault on a government official is a separate thing.
Miss Miller, could you stand, please? Before I ask you anything, could you please, bailiff, swear her in?
Mm-hmm. Howdy.
Howdy.
Do you swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes.
Alright.
Miss Miller, could you raise your voice as well?
Can you hear me better?
Yes, thank you.
Okay.
Now, you heard the charges as read. Is it your intention to plead guilty to any of these charges?
Yes.
To which or all of them?
All of them.
Well, in that case, I will find you guilty, and we will move to the sentencing phase. The prosecution will present their interpretation of the charges. And what a sentencing comes down to is two things, and that is mitigating factors and aggravating circumstances. It will be the prosecution's job to tell me what the aggravating circumstances are and to give their sentencing recommendation. And in your own defense, you will be presenting me with mitigating factors, remorse, or any other such thing. And from there, it is my job to determine the sentence. Is that understood?
Yes, sir.
Very well. Prosecution, in a narrative fashion, please describe the charges and. Well, first, what is your sentencing recommendation?
It is in the belief of the state that the accused acted without remorse or regret, and it is recommended by the governor's office that the maximum penalty is recommended.
Clarification: the maximum penalty in this case being death.
Indeed, hung by the neck until dead.
Very well. Can you present the state's representation of these charges and any aggravating circumstances you find relevant?
I'd like to begin by calling up a witness if I could.
This is not to prove the facts of the case, but instead will be taken as an impact statement. But
Yes, this is to prove the remorseless behavior of the accused.
You may proceed.
Oh, the prosecution would like to call Miss Hannah Katz to the stand, please.
Also, Miss Miller, you may sit until you are called upon again.
Where do you want me to go?
Up next to your brother there.
Right here?
Stand
Yep.
by the podium.
Billy, you
actually.
want to handle this one since you know it?
I don't know. Yeah. Do you want her to stand off the side or here?
Let's have her stand at the podium, please.
Okay,
And
just
you may
stand
question
here at
from
the
the
podium.
side counsel.
Okay.
Anna, do you swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
Miss Anna, do you have the notes earlier from the interview at Sisica with Miss Miller?
I do. Give me just one moment to pull them
Actual
out.
fuck.
So I interviewed her at Sisica. I'm writing an article about this trial, and I wanted to get her side of the story, Rowan's side of the story. Wanted to witness the trial and maybe get a few witness statements from those who did attend the trial. The first thing I interviewed her on was I knew that there was a possibility that the highest sentence, being death, could happen. So I wanted to get information to be able to fill out a obituary on Ms. Jasmine Miller. So I asked her things like her name, her age, does she have any family? She stated yes, she has a daughter, Cameron. I asked if she had any friends or I guess previous gang members that would possibly miss her. She mentioned a Jolene Wiley, a Frank Stratton, and someone whose name is simply Duchess. I asked her questions about her life and what led her to crime. She stated she was born in Lemoyne, raised in Saint Denis. She stayed in Strawberry with the Wiley family, which is when she met her friends. She left to New Austin to do horse training, and there she met our governor. She said that from there, life went downhill. I asked her, was it because the governor? Because she had simply stated, I met the governor and then life went downhill. So she did verify that, yes, she stated it was because the governor. Uh, before he became governor, and this was many, many, many years ago, he and Ms. Jasmine did commit crimes together. She tried to get out of a life of crime when she gave birth to her daughter, Cameron. Ms. Jasmine states that the governor took Jasmine from her, um, and that she looked for them, she couldn't find them, so she continued committing crimes because she felt like she didn't have a purpose. Um, I asked her when she had met the leader of her most recent gang affiliation. She said she met a man named Angel, who was the leader of her gang, roughly 3 to 4 years ago in New Austin, and that they robbed banks together and committed various crimes together. The whole list, she states. She killed people with Angel and the gang. In the process of robbing a singular bank, there happened to be a lot of people in town that day, and a lot of them were killed on the gang's way out. She states that the gang killed a total of 30 in a singular day, including the hostages that they had kept with them. She states that it was Angel who had the idea for initiating this, I'm just going to call it conflict with Rowan. They wanted to kidnap Cam to lure Rowan out into a position of vulnerability where they would then attack him or do something. She was told by Angel that Cameron would not be harmed in this. However, Jasmine was caught by our law enforcement, and as punishment for failing to evade law enforcement, Angel had Cameron essentially buried alive in a small chest, I think, with only I guess, a tube for air, and they would drop food and water down occasionally. Um, I asked her if she had any remorse for this most recent conflict. She says yes and no. She wishes that things could have been different. She admits that she chose to run with that group. And she was with that group. They did commit those crimes, etc. However, by running with that group, her life and Cameron's life were at risk. Um, I asked her what she thinks she deserves to be sentenced, and she admitted that she has done quite a few crimes. I asked her, well, there's a possibility of being executed, and she understood that. And then I told her, well, there's a possibility of maybe life in prison as a possibility. She stated that if she was to be sentenced to life in prison, that she would actually try to better herself. It is at this point that my interview with her ended, and I left with Billy via a steamboat.
Now, the state would like to say this is all well and good that she would try and better herself if she was given a life without parole sentence, but you can change who you are, but you cannot change the crimes you have done or the lives you have taken. And that is irreparable damage that's happened, and you've killed multiple people, even by your own count. The state has no further questions.
Can I go sit down now?
Cats, no, I would like to.
Okay.
Again, this is a sentencing. We are no longer in the trial phase, so a little less informal here. Now, Miss Katz, were you subpoenaed? Were you enforced to testify here?
No, I stepped up here of my own volition. I had an inkling that I would be called to witness, as I had did this interview, and I had witnessed a few of the events that led to this trial.
Were you that in the future, well, it is not illegal to bring a member of the press to testify as to their interviews. Giving an interview in court is not likely to win you many jailhouse interviews in the future. It
I
could
know,
be
I'm
seen as
sorry.
deceptive.
I merely wanted to get her side of the story. I was
I understand. I'm
under
simply
the
warning
assumption
you
that
you will it's not a matter for today, but just be careful about your conduct in the future.
Okay. Can I sit?
Does the accused wish to ask anything of this witness? It's not exactly proper form, but again, we're in a sentencing, not a formal trial. No questions, Miss Miller?
No, I don't have any questions.
Very well, you're dismissed.
Thank you.
Are there any other witnesses for the prosecution?
I did have two other witnesses. I did subpoena one of them, and I did not get a response. That was Miss Petra Roll. And then my other witness is the daughter of the accused and felt that it was too traumatic to be here. And I can understand that fully,
Any
as that
witness
was one of her
statements?
victims. No,
All right. That person that you subpoenaed, did they receive the subpoena and fail to appear, or was the subpoena never delivered?
considering the bird system that we have, I cannot say either way.
Perhaps a more personally delivered. If it was not in the state's power, it's not in the state's power. But if we had proof of delivery, then we could throw a charge on there for refusal.
I don't think that's necessary.
Anyway, does the state wish to provide any further narrative or argument?
I do have some evidence to put forward. I've spent the last week doing a great deal of digging, speaking to a lot of family members, speaking to a lot of undertakers, and I came up with 28 death certificates. Give me one moment. 28 death certificates and notes from family members who their sons, daughters, husbands, wives were killed by the accused, and I'd like to put these on your desk if I could.
Do so.
Just to show you the impact that she has had on the lives of so many in a negative way.
And with that, does the prosecution rest?
Potentially. I
You'll
do
have a
have
chance to cross.
Oh, I just someone I was hoping to call up. Maybe it just arrived here, and I may, if I could just have like a 2-minute recess, Your Honor.
2-minute recess is granted. Everybody who is not shackled may stretch their legs as they wish.
Yes, sir. Prefer not to.
Hey, Jolene. I'll be alright.
But the prosecution has no further evidence nor witnesses, and we rest.
Yeah, that's true.
Thank you. Now, Miss Jasmine, it is your opportunity to speak on your own behalf. I will allow you to come up to the podium if you wish, or you can speak from that desk. Of course, you will be watched the whole time, as you are not free to go.
I really don't have much to say, honestly. I am guilty for the crimes that I've done.
To be clear, this is your opportunity to state any pressures you felt, any unwillingness, or even just guilt and remorse.
Members of the crowd, please sit down.
I do wish things would have been different and my daughter didn't get taken from me, because that was my chance of me wanting to fix myself, but things didn't happen that way. So, I mean, if I do get a life sentence, then I will do my best to try to become a better person in the way I can. And then if not, then it is what it is. I am a grown woman and I did make the choices I made.
I have a question or two for the prosecution, if you would be willing to take the floor again.
Yes, of course, Your Honor.
Please take a seat. And a chair.
If people are having leg cramps, don't worry too much about it. Now, how did Miss Miller here come into custody?
It is. I'm under the impression that she. Actually, Billy, can you give a better representation of this?
She turned herself in, Your Honor.
What were the circumstances surrounding that, if you are personally familiar?
She sent me a telegram saying that she wanted to turn herself in. Upon hearing this, I sent a telegram to Thaddeus Grant, who was in the marshal office at the time. He met up with her in Rhodes by himself instead of meeting up with me, and he took her into custody, I guess, and brought her to Rhodes jail, and then we transferred her to Sisika awaiting trial.
Very much. Gain your position over there.
Sorry, Your Honor?
Just back over to your side.
Oh, yeah.
As I said, aggravating factors and mitigating circumstances. In law, there are several philosophies. It comes down to the purpose of law. Is the purpose of law to punish, to protect, or to rehabilitate? Now, in this particular case, I'll be honest, I'm not too keen on the idea of rehabilitation, considering the weight of these acts. However, in terms of protection, some things do stand out. When a accused turns themselves in, it does not behoove the state to punish them for doing so. If everyone gets slapped real hard after they turn themselves in, no one ever would. Furthermore, we avoided a formal trial, as Miss Miller did plead guilty to her charges. These are factors that I have to take in, as they stand not only against this particular accused, but set precedent for further cases.
Your Honor, if I may. It's the belief of the state that because of the frequency that she was apprehended, that she turned herself in a way to seek leniency and not a admission of guilt, but a attempt at a lesser sentence.
Miss Miller, could you please state in your own words, again, you are sworn to honesty, why did you turn yourself in?
Because I want to change. Truly. I don't want to be this person that I am anymore. I never wanted to be this person to begin with, but things didn't turn out that way.
I understand that feelings are hot in this case, but it is my ruling to reject the state's recommendation of death and instead sentence the accused to, the convicted, to life in prison. Marshal's office will take her back into custody. I believe that resolves matters for today, and everyone is dismissed.
Alright, Ms. Miller, please stand up.
Don't worry, Miller. We got your back. We're gonna prove that this government is corrupt.
Can you face away from me? Thank you.
Dangerously close to contempt of court over there. Watch it, please. Especially after leniency was granted.
We're gonna follow this marshal in front of you out.
Okay.
Just talking to a friend.
Expected that.